An ordinary cane is the sort of thing that you might expect a gentleman to have with him as he walks about. It is the sort of thing that a gentleman is expected to use to take on a blackguard with. Becky, what is her defensive position with the ordinary cane? Ah, she's shown us the lookout. Can you show me the high ground, please? Fantastic. Why is the weapon all the way back there? The weapon is all the way back there because if Becky holds it in front of her and she tries to parry my swing with a big old club, the stopping point is her hand because she doesn't have a crossguard. You cannot use a cane like you can use a sword. So what they have done is they've gone back to Renaissance Italian fencing manuals. I'm going to try and smash her fencing. Go for it. See that? She tricked me. She put her entire body out as a target and kept the weapon back. And then the second I went for the exposed target, whipped her body out of the way, neat as you like, and she used that momentum to move her much lighter stick straight into my jaw. That doesn't require a huge amount of physical strength because it relies on speed and it relies on movement. And it relies, if you can show us the footwork again. The turning of the hips is what generates that power. This is a martial arts system that is designed to privilege someone who is speedy and who is technical and who is smart. And Becky is using that to take on someone who is much stronger and much better armed. That tells you that these guys know exactly what they're about. And it tells you a little bit about the kind of people they're expecting to practice Bartitsu. This is a martial art aimed at gentlemen. And the point is not to outfight your opponent, but to outthink them. That's enough with the stick for now. There's only one big throw shown in this martial arts system. And we're about to go into it, which is why I'm trying to reveal it. It is a throw that is known in Japanese as Ippon Seoi Nage, or the single shoulder throw. And the system is shown in the manual, this will land on the mats. It's shown that you're attacked like this. Now, what would you do from this position, Becky? Quite simple. Now, I'm going to contrast that with a couple of the modern procedures for this. If I can get Becky to come over here. She's going to throw it, and we do judo style. If you ever look at a judo demonstration over there, same throw. And lastly, if you ever look at Billy Edwards, he shows it as the boxers used to use it, because grappling used to be legal in boxing, they called it the flying mare. What is different about the judo style and the boxing style? First off, we start facing each other. Look, she's ready to fight. She knows exactly what's coming. The Bartitsu one, she's talking to someone over there. She's getting chatted up at the bar, and I sneaked up behind her. This is not a position of two equals engaging in mutually consensual violence. This is the first time in the self-defense manual record we see people being attacked against their will. This is the first time we kind of see the modern notion of self-defense being born. This is the first time we get the notion that you're not fighting another man, you're fending off a criminal. It's quite dramatic, eh? But there's more to it than that. What sort of criminal are you fending off? Becky attacks me. Oh, it doesn't work very well. I can't get that through it. She's smaller than me. But the Bartitsu manual shows me what to do. It says, drop onto your knee. The thing is, Becky doesn't need to drop on her knee to do that to me, because look at where her hips are. She's already weak. I have to drop to get that thrown Becky because I'm bigger than her. She doesn't have to drop to get it on me. And yet the Bartitsu manual insists on showing that as a drop knee. What does that suggest to you guys? To me, it suggests you're being attacked by someone smaller. Now, why would a self-defense manual show you that? Surely someone smaller you're not scared of. You are. And that feeds into some of the other grappling techniques they show us. It shows you how to deal with a man who shakes you by your hips, which is most important. I don't think that was unpleasant enough. That was very unpleasant. It shows you how to deal with a man who's drunk at your party and being objectionable. I knew your mum. She's dead. Right. At this point, she can make my own quite easily, couldn't you? Right? I don't like doing that. It shows you how to deal with a blackguard who's trying to steal your pocket watch. The impact in all these techniques comes from a different use of leverage. And what is happening is that we're talking about a trunk versus a head grappling system here. Now, in martial arts terms, that's quite easy to demonstrate, quite difficult to explain. Becky, pick me up, please. Becky, move me around, please. Sorry, please. Becky, move me about, please. Right. The amount of movement she's able to produce works on the principle of leverage. And basically, the further away she gets from the trunk of my body, the more she is able to move me about, because I'm stronger than her. On the flip side, I don't need to worry too much, because I'm strong enough to back it up. So what we're looking at is a system of self-defense that's designed to fight someone who's shorter than you, but who's also stronger than you. Do you remember class Victorian gentleman? Who's that? It's a working class Victorian club, isn't it? This is a system of defence that is not designed for peers. It's the first time we've got a recorded inference of that. This is class warfare getting institutionalised. These are people who are going out of their homes and they're feeling assaulted by the wave of the urban working class. And what we're seeing is their response to that fear coming through in the types of martial arts they practice and the way they conduct themselves in society. I know that in particular because there's one technique to allow a gentleman to overcome a boxer. Boxing was very, very popular in England for a long time, even after pugilism became a sport. If you ever read the biography of Jim Mason, I suggest you do, he tells you just how many people would box as working class young men. It wasn't a suitable activity for middle class young men. So that they have this technique suggests, again, there's that class tension going on. But a boxer will stand, and he's got his boxing set. They do windmill, by the way, I'm not making this bit up. This is how they fall. But as I come in, I need to stop falling over, it's going to hurt some. The point is, I'm trying with all my might to smack her in the face. All she's doing is deflecting my hardest punch and using her stick to again take away my peg. There's no attempt to get in close, there's no attempt to control my trunk, because that becomes a battle of strength. And as a gentleman, Becky's not set up to overpower my huge masculine working class strength. She doesn't want to outfight me. She doesn't want to be stronger than me. She wants to outthink me. When a working class thug, part Becky on outline, comes along and attacks a gentleman with a stick, what does the gentleman do? He doesn't play fair. He thinks faster than her, and he smacks her as hard as he can. And there's that turn away from fair play. And that's a new type of masculinity, where victory is the only mentality. That ties in quite well with Archaeology's on imperialism. I'm not entirely sure of the links yet, because it's very early days in the project. But there's no nobility in defeat anymore. There's no sense that, this is a contest of will between equals, and it doesn't matter who wins because we're resolving something. No, it's a matter of I'm scared of you, I'm putting you down. Do we have much time left? Right. In that case, we have just enough time to indulge in one of my favourites, which demonstrates that particularly well. If you'd like to grab the knife. They have a suggestion for a particular You're a gentleman walking through Portugal, wherever it was nice, and someone tries to stab you. Trickery, deceit, and then I run away. We've already greatly enriched our understanding of the fears of violence harboured by middle-class Victorians. We found corroborative evidence of a fear of group attacks, particularly attacks by working-class males who are just not expected to engage in a fair fight. We've also learned that gentlemen are expected to show a level of restraint. She brought a knife, I brought a coat. I'm not allowed to take the knife off her and kill her. I have to be a gentleman and show that masculine restraint. Ellen Godfrey has identified this trend in the negative, showing that gentlemen are less likely to carry and use weapons as the 19th century goes on. But it's only by studying the violence that these gentlemen practiced that we learn what they chose to replace those weapons with. In short, by bringing to life the tools they used to fight, we gain a unique insight